All right, we are live. This is the first time you guys have seen Max coverage virtually, as you would say. We're streaming live right now, as you see. You can feel free to come join in on the conversations, ask us some questions. Write on the comments what y'all think about our topics. We would love for y'all to be engaged in this. This is fun. This is going to be pretty interesting to kind of test out and see how we do. Please share it out, like, and subscribe if you haven't been to our channel yet. But man, Kiefer, how's it going over there? Usually you're right here next to me, but
It's
now
different. It's
yeah, I can
different.
see
That's for
you.
sure. I like it though. I like that I get to utilize my new MacBook camera.
Oh yeah,
Definitely had to put that thing to work.
yeah. You pay that hard-earned bucks on it. You gotta, make sure you got that full thing. Oh, what's up? So French is already in the building. What's going on, French? Appreciate you stopping by. We have quite a few topics to talk to y'all about. Nothing crazy, nothing really major happened throughout this week. We had
Dude, hold
some.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Did you just say nothing major happened?
Well, hold on. I was gonna get to that.
No, 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 buddy. The biggest move of the offseason happened today, guys. Nathan Peterman is
Oh,
a Chicago Bear. The
it was
offseason.
funny that report. That report. Oh, what's up? What's up, Spence? What's up, Mitch?
Hey,
Appreciate y'all
don't
coming
here
by.
goes Key for me, all right? You should love this guy as much as I do, all right? He got the Jacksonville
Hey,
Jaguars a finishing dub with that interception in that playoff game.
that was that we were there live in full effect. We saw that
And
go
he's a
down.
Jacksonville boy, I'm pretty
That's what
sure.
I'm
I'm
saying.
pretty
He's
sure
from
he's from
Duval.
Jacksonville. Yeah.
But it was funny, like that report that we saw about Nathan Peterman. They're like, he started ahead of Josh Allen in 2018 for the Bills. Like they just had to throw
I
that little
saw
like.
that. I don't even remember that, bro.
I
It
don't
must have
either.
just been one game. He must have like opened the season as the starter, and Josh Allen took over like immediately because I do not remember a long period of time with him starting. I remember the Bills benching Tyrod Taylor for
Yeah,
Nathan Peterman, and he came in and had that horrendous first half. And then we didn't see him again until Tyrod got hurt against the Jaguars. But that's all I remember about Peterman.
yeah. That's like Spence said right here. If anyone can, Peterman can. I remember all the Bills fans that we were surrounded by in the stands. They were screaming that. I was like, "You guys don't even freaking believe this, man! Stop." Appreciate you, Mitch. I appreciate that a lot, bro. But let's get into it, Kiefer. We have some topics we wanted to get with y'all. So we're gonna start off by this one right here. I'm gonna throw it on the screen. So what do you think about this? Debo Samuel has refollowed the 49ers on all social media. So, all is well, it seems like, for Debo and the 49ers. He unfollowed them, all the turmoil happened, and then now we're expecting Debo to stay in San Francisco. Kiefer, do you think this is just it's kind of getting like carried on too far? And this is just like the Rodgers situation. Like, Jesus, is he gonna leave? Is he gonna stay? I know we both are kind of like on the same boat that we both think Debo's gonna stay in San Fran, but what does this have to do with any of that? Or is it just them trying to reconnect and be on good terms again?
Yeah, so let me start by saying John Lynch has handled his wide receiver problem way better than any other GM, all right, with that kind of pressure with your receiver, like kind of pushing you. Because, listen, I mean, I said it all along. I didn't think any of these guys were going to get traded because I just feel like you don't trade a top tier talent like that. But what I feel
Mhm.
like happened is draft weekend passed, and Debo Samuel's agent probably reached out and he's like, hey, what's up? Like, draft
Yeah.
weekend's gone now. I'm still here. Like, what's up? And they were probably like, listen, bro, nobody gave us anything close, which is exactly what Lynch said is like, we value him a lot more than other teams have made offers for. Like,
Yeah.
nobody has come close to what we value Debo Samuel at. And I think that he probably said, listen, bro, draft weekend is gone. All right. Debo is going to be on this team this year or he's not going to play football. And he has to play. There's no holding out. You're on a rookie deal. You need that year to accrue. Otherwise, you just owe San Francisco a year. So I think basically his agent went to him and said, hey, the trade's not happening. Because if there was going to be a trade specifically for draft capital it would have happened like either during or before that draft because I
Yeah.
mean, they're not going to want to trade for next year's pick because next year's pick is uncertain. We don't know where you're going to be picking yet. It's the beginning of like, there's no indication as to where you're going to fall at the end of this year. So, and this is why I also say they're the smartest out of all these teams because listen, man, I mean, yeah, are they playing on their final year? Absolutely. But this is why it doesn't matter, bro, because we got a franchise tag, all right? And regardless of whether you trade him now or next year on the tag, whoever you're trading him to has to keep in mind that they need to pay this player in order for him to be on their team moving forward. So it really doesn't change the situation at all. I don't see how his value would drop other than injury. But I mean, I don't get it. I don't get how you trade away AJ Brown and not just
Yeah.
wait till next year. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I think San Francisco has handled this beautifully. I think they just told Debo, like, hey, listen, dude, it's not happening. Like, I don't know what you think's gonna happen if you hold out, but you're gonna be here no matter what.
Yeah. And that is crazy because, Tennessee, there's reports saying that they were wary on like wanting to re-sign AJ Brown to a long-term deal. I was like, why? Like, what
Well, they were
else?
saying I read that report. They were saying that like to that kind of money, they weren't comfortable giving
Oh,
him the
like
20
100 mil?
plus mil a year. Yeah, exactly. Like 100. They weren't comfortable giving him that much, which is just absolutely ridiculous.
Like, why?
Honestly,
Like, we were talking about, last episode, the Christian Kirk situation, and if Hollywood is gonna get that same. I mean, if you pay 13 more million for AJ Brown compared to
that
Christian
is
Kirk,
wild. I'm not even
you know what
gonna
I'm
lie.
saying?
That is like insane. But I mean, honestly, it's also you got to look at the guarantees because the guarantee
Yeah.
there is a pretty big difference. I'm pretty sure that Christian Kirk's guarantees are not they're significantly. I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure they're significantly less than AJ Brown's.
AJ Brown got 54 mil guaranteed, right? I think that was his guaranteed part of that
Yeah,
deal. And Christian Kirk, I want to say he got 50 something mil too, if I'm not mistaken, because I think they set it up
37 guaranteed.
37 million for Christian Kirk.
Yeah, and 54. So I mean, that is like almost double. So that's
Christian
where the difference is.
Christian Kirk will have a better season.
Well,
But
not
yeah,
almost double, but like 1.5.
yeah. Spence, I don't know about that. I know you hope so, but we'll see. But yeah, the whole Debo thing though is, I mean, you might like you just said, the drafts here and there, it's already passed, nothing happened. You're not going to trade them for nothing. If you were going to trade them at all, it would be for definitely a first round pick at least, like
I mean,
bare
I'm not going to
minimum.
rule out a player for player trade. I'm actually surprised this doesn't happen more often. Like, rarely do we see one superstar get traded for another superstar. But I just think if the stars aligned correctly and you both had an unhappy superstar, that's where I think you can really make some value happen. And nobody capitalizes on that. But I mean, dude, if I got one guy that's super unhappy, but he's an all-star, and you got a guy that's super unhappy and he's an all-star, if we swap them for each other, that might make both of them happy. And
Yeah,
then we can both actually keep our superstar player. Like then we know we have a superstar. We're not trading for potential or what ifs. That's what I get annoyed with the draft picks. It's what ifs, bro.
yeah,
It's what
it's
ifs.
question marks. And I mean, the whole report's coming out saying that Debo doesn't like playing running back, all this stuff. But then I thought he was mic'd up one game, if
He
I'm not
was.
mistaken, and
That honestly makes
he
no
was like,
sense.
"Give me the ball, I need the
Yeah.
ball," and then now he's complaining, "I don't want to get hit as much." You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he was more scared of like them leaning, "Oh, you're more of a running back than receiver, so we're gonna pay you less than
I
what
think I think he's just using every negotiation tool
tactic."
possible.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and
true.
like I don't think he actually even has a problem playing running back, to be honest with you. As long as he gets paid like a wide receiver or plus running back, I don't think he really cares. I think and this is total speculation, but I'm with you. Like that's dumb. That's a
Yeah,
dumb report for you to say like I don't want to play running back and wide receiver when you're over here asking for them to hand you the ball. It doesn't make any sense.
yeah, and like there was an anonymous like GM that came out and said like they think the wide receiver market is leaning towards the running back market, basically saying like, we're gonna play these big time. players on their rookie contracts, but when it's time for them to pay them, they'll just send them away. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know who said that. I think of course, he didn't put his name out there, but he was saying
Right.
like he thinks the wide receiver market is leaning towards being like the running backs. I mean, we've kind of seen it so far with the Packers. They never want to pay, their all-star receivers after their rookie I mean, they gave Devontae his second contract, but it wasn't like crazy, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't like where he was
He
when
wasn't skill level wise where he
yeah.
is now. Yeah.
So, I mean, we re-signed him, but he wasn't nearly as good as he is now, but that's just, Tariq Hill, for instance, another, receiver that the franchise didn't want to pay because they're getting all these rookie guys and cheap dudes. Like, I mean, I saw today Jordan Petrie, the freaking safety, the second rounder, 4 years, 8 mil. I'm like, I forgot how cheap these like rookie contracts are. It's
Yeah,
freaking
they for
crazy.
sure are. I have some strong thoughts about those comments by the GM about the wide receivers turning into
Did
the
you
running
see
back
that?
market. Yeah, I saw it. Let me start by saying I think whoever that GM is that said that, if you start strategizing like that, bro, you're not going to be a GM for long. Let me start by saying that
Right?
because I feel strongly in the opposite direction. The running backs, the running back market is where it is today because running backs are so close in talent. It's a mixture of the
Yeah.
running backs being so close in talent and also how much of your success relies on that offensive line. To me, those are the two things right there that make the running back market what it is today compared to where the wide receiver market is. The reason the wide receiver market is where it's at today is because there is such a separation in talent and skill at the wide receiver position, and you can put three on the field. So that's one thing to keep in mind, like regularly, like almost every play. So I think that a combination with it. But I mean, dude, the top tier receivers compared to mid tier receivers, the difference is a
Yeah.
lot. Like it is not a small jump. It is like a huge jump. And
Mhm.
on top of that, when you look at the amount of running backs that get drafted that turn into busts, like that number's pretty low. When you look at the number of wide receivers that get drafted that don't end up being elite, I'm not going to say bust, but that aren't elite, like it's a lot, bro. It is hard to get an elite wide receiver. I strongly disagree. I think that you have to pay a wide receiver and you need at least one number one.
Yeah. And I think that GM is probably a GM for like a shitty ass team. Like, we're never gonna win,
It's
really. You know what I'm
dude,
saying?
it's
I don't.
probably it's probably the Titans GM, John Schneider.
Oh,
Or not John Schneider, whatever his name is, John something, I'm pretty sure. Um but yeah, it's probably him, bro, because he just did it. They're probably trying to probably getting a bunch of heat for trading AJ Brown. And he's like,
yeah,
let me call a media guy that I know and put an anonymous tip in that wide receivers aren't worth it.
bro, that was hilarious. Like that whole Mike Vrabel video,
And
for
if it and
him getting
honestly,
up
if
and
it is them, if it is the Titans, my rebuttal would be um
what's up, Key?
Corey Davis, bro. Like, see Corey Davis. Like, Corey Davis, you drafted him with the 7th overall draft pick, bro. I'm pretty sure he was the first wide receiver off the board that year. And
Yeah,
you look at where he is, it's like he's okay, bro. He's
yeah,
okay. But do you know how hard it is to find an AJ Brown? Like, that is hard as shit. Okay. So
yeah,
that's why I just strongly disagree because I think AJ Brown is one of those guys that could be top 10, like, for the
yeah,
next
for
10
sure.
years.
What's up? What's up, Dante? Um, Yeah, I mean, I remember when Corey Davis did come out, he was on ESPN, like, they were hyping him up like crazy. He did go I think he was a top 10 pick
Yeah,
in
he
that
was picked.
draft. Yeah, like, I remember that draft because I was like, "Why are they hyping this guy up so much?" Because he went to, I think it was Western Michigan, some, like, small school, you know what I'm saying? I mean, his tape looked good, but I just didn't really hear much of Corey Davis, and, yeah, maybe that I wonder
And
who
also
said that.
another rebuttal for it too that I just thought of while you were saying that is, do you remember that guy, Green Beckham?
Yeah,
The Titans drafted him with
yep,
like the first pick in the second round. That guy
yep.
was out of the league in like 2 years, dude, two
I
or three
forgot about
years.
him, man.
To exactly, but that's my point. Like, dude, it's not easy with receivers. Like, it is not easy to find somebody that can be that successful on the field consistently. Like, because even Corey Davis, like, I'm not gonna say he's a bust. Like, yeah, I mean, he's a starter. Yeah, he's a starter, bro. But I
Yeah.
mean, Is he like that difference maker on the field? Like, I would say not.
No, not at all. But speaking of receivers, let's go to this one. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of reports about Jarvis Landry. Now the Ravens have came out and said they're interested. You said they need to look at every single wide receiver on the market after this Hollywood Brown trade. The Browns haven't reached out to Jarvis because that was one of the strong, oh, he might return back with the Browns after they got Deshaun Watson, but they haven't contacted Jarvis. So that just leads me to this question: where is he going to play next season? Like, it just feels like him and Odell are the clear cut best guys on the market right now, and you can add Julio in there as well. But I would take Jarvis Landry and Odell over Julio. Where are these guys going to end up like playing next season? I just feel like who needs a receiver other than like the Ravens, the Packers. Of course, the Packers are going to be in the mix of all the available wide receivers left on the market. But like, where do you think Jarvis Landry best fits for next season?
So I actually think there's a good bit of receiver needs still. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are really banking on unproven talents, in my opinion, because you also got the Patriots. I mean, they have Devontae Parker. That's it,
Yeah, and
man.
then they
I mean,
drafted
they have the
Tyquan
two
Thornton.
tight ends. But
I
yeah, I
know,
mean,
I know.
exactly. Like, there's just so much unprovenness on your
Jacoby
team.
Myers still there.
Yeah, man, but like that's your guy. Like, that's the only guy that like I just don't see it. Like, I just don't see how you can want to go into year two with Mac Jones and that's your number one options, Devontae Parker and Hunter Henry, basically.
Yeah,
So I just think that there's a lot of places that could use at least another receiver. But the two places that stick out the most to me, where I honestly think to myself, what the hell are you guys doing? And that is, you said it, the Baltimore Ravens and the Indianapolis Colts. Okay, specifically the Indianapolis Colts number one, because they have so much cap space still. I'm like, why are you guys
yeah,
such cheap bastards to the point where you won't pay a receiver what they want? And if I was one of those teams, dude, I'd be double targeting right now. I'd be targeting Jarvis and Odell. They're boys. If you get Jarvis to sign now, you're going to increase the likelihood, and you're in the playoffs, you're going to increase the likelihood that Odell wants to come there. Like, that's just
yeah,
it. But one, I think with the Ravens, it is an uphill battle. Like, for them to sell a receiver to come there, especially somebody in Jarvis's situation, Jarvis, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know this. I just wouldn't be surprised if they've already made him, like, offered him exactly what he asked for, and he's still ho-humming it because of the offense that they play in and Lamar Jackson. And it's not a knock on Lamar. It's just the way he plays football. It's just the way that it's so run heavy. I think
mm,
that some players, especially if you're like in Jarvis's situation where it's like, I kind of want a 1-year deal where I can show out and then get paid again not next offseason, you might not look at the Ravens as the best situation. The Colts, I feel like I don't know why you wouldn't look at it that way. I mean, yeah, they have Jonathan Taylor, but Matt Ryan now, who you could question if he still has something left in the tank, but the team is set up so well to the point where I think that you're almost guaranteed to have success in that offense.
yeah. I think the Colts are one of those teams, that we just touched on. They don't like to sign free agent receivers. They like to go and get them because Alec Pierce, they drafted him in the second round to like go with Michael Pittman. So maybe they just don't like veteran receivers as well. I mean, Ty is not. I don't think he'll come back. I think he's done. He needs to just retire. But what's up? What's up, Spotlight? But
They
yeah, I
said they're
mean,
still talking to Ty.
that's I don't get that either. Like, I feel like
I
I'm
get it. I
sorry.
get
I
it,
know
kind
I
of.
know he's loyal. I know he's
He's a
been
legend.
there. Yeah, but I think
Cap space
the time is done for Ty in Indianapolis. I think they need to go
doesn't
younger.
have to be a starter, but I feel like you can't turn down a T.Y. Hilton, bro. I mean, he's been there his whole career. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to tell, like, that's like telling Larry Fitzgerald, no, you can't play here anymore. Like, the Cardinals wouldn't do that. They were like, oh, you might not play as much, but you can definitely still come, dude.
Yeah.
For a
I
while.
mean, he might come back, but I definitely agree with you with the Ravens. It just seems like a lot of receivers don't like being there. Hence Hollywood, they don't have that offense that the receivers want, especially with Jarvis Landry. He already came out and said he wants 20 million. He's not going to get that. I just tell him that much. Like, you're not going to get that anymore. You just got to bite the bullet. Maybe sign a 1-year deal somewhere and prove yourself. I know he's already proven himself, but like if you really want 20 mil, you got to like do something, man. Because I mean, last season was a fluke. I'm not gonna put it all in Jarvis, of course, because of Baker. But if I'm thinking 20 mil, I'm thinking of AJ Brown. That's who I'm thinking of now in that area. I don't really count Christian Kirk. I know he's getting paid like around 17, 18 mil, but I'm talking about like that 20 mil threshold. If you are on AJ Brown's level, then yeah, here's 20 mil a year. But if not, I'm going to sign you to a cheap, maybe 1 or 2 year deal. But I will still take Jarvis Landry with the Packers. I mean, I don't know about Odell because we're gonna have to wait for that. But if we need someone to help out like right now, Jarvis Landry makes the most sense in my eyes out of the market. I mean, Julio, I just don't trust his hamstrings. I'm gonna be honest here. He always hurts his hamstrings, and playing in that cold, playing in that frozen tundra up there, man. No, I don't. I wouldn't want Julio up there, but Packers seem like they don't want any of these people.
I know
So.
it's wild because I didn't really mention you guys because like you guys are like obvious ones. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody knows
Well,
Packers still need receivers.
Ian Rappaport went on Pat McAfee's show like this past week, and he was saying like the Packers are going to be in the mix for like one of these guys. So
Really?
but the thing is, we've
Interesting
been
because
hearing that.
Ian Rapp also reported that the Packers were looking to make a big move on draft day. So
I know. Well,
I mean,
no, he
we'll
didn't
fucking
report
see,
that. That
pal.
was Mark Murphy. That was
Oh,
our freaking
well,
president.
hey,
That's
all I know is he reported it. All right, he might not
yeah.
report. I didn't say he reported it first. He reported it though.
Our big move was trading up in the second round, buddy. You know that. But I mean, we'll see where Jarvis goes. It's still I don't there's no rush really. I mean, what training camp starts June 15th, I think. The
Honestly,
week
if
of that.
anything, you could argue that's more of a reason to take your time.
Yeah, right. You still got plenty of time. But this article was very interesting in my eyes. I mean, we all know Jalen Hurts is basically on a 1 year audition to be the Eagles' long term starting quarterback. But now a GM says, "Oh, I'm sorry, but I have another one." But yeah, like the report coming out saying like all the Eagles set up Jalen Hurts perfectly to succeed this year. He's on a 1 year audition. If not, you see next year's draft already. They got plenty of freaking quarterbacks projected in the first round. So, and they got a first round pick already for next season as well from the Saints. So, I mean, this is make or break for Jalen Hurts, but I'm surprised that this article came out. Basically, there's like, yeah, I'm a flat out say it. He's on a 1 year audition.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to me because I feel like we were saying the same thing last year when
I
they
know.
traded away Carson Wentz, and they were like, "Oh, they're going to give him a chance this year." I think one, he definitely earned at least a second year audition this year. He had a lot of ups and downs, but I believe in Jalen Hurts. I don't think we'll be
Yeah.
having this conversation next year. I think that Jalen Hurts is going to earn that starting job. I'm done doubting him. All right, let me start by saying I've been doubting this guy since he was at Bama. Okay, when Tua came in that national championship game, I remember thinking to myself, "Wow, Jalen Hurts needs to play a different position if he wants to make it in the NFL because he's not going to be a quarterback." Then he went to Oklahoma, balled out, and you know what I said to
Yeah.
myself? Man, all the quarterbacks at Oklahoma have been balling out. It's probably a Oklahoma thing. And then he
Hmm.
got drafted to the Eagles, and I'll admit he was up and down last year. He definitely was, and there was times, honestly, that I noticed where it felt like he did not play good against good competition. He played good against weaker competition. Like he beat up
Yeah.
on that weaker competition. But dude, I mean, he's flashed those skills, man. I mean, first of all, dynamic runner, okay, up there
Hmm.
with the best of them besides Lamar. But even in the passing game, he makes smart decisions. Okay, if you listen to his interviews, he's a smart dude when it comes to like his reads. He understands what is expected of him on each play. I just think that he has the mental makeup of a starting quarterback, and I don't think there's any way in hell he's going to give up that job. Yeah, they were one and done last year in the playoffs, but most people didn't think this team was going to make the playoffs when that year started. Okay, so I got to give him a lot of credit for pulling that team together and making it in the playoffs at the very least. So I'm going to say that I think it's a fair statement, and they have made moves that, like, yes, if he shits the bed, they're going to pick a quarterback. But I just think that they did set him up for success, and he's going to achieve that success this year.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. When the whole Bama situation happened, I was like, yeah, we probably will never see Jalen Hurts in the league, and he did prove himself, man. And that's just his grind and his work ethic is like bar none one of the best because he's a great leader too. Like
Yeah.
just seeing his press conferences and like seeing how like pissed off he looks when they lose big games. You know what I'm saying? Like you want that in your starting quarterback. Like I'm with you. I believe in Jalen Hurts. I feel like this year he will probably show like he is going to be here for long term. I mean, I'm just picturing him and AJ Brown, man. Like, man, and
Yeah.
Devontae Smith,
Yeah.
and
They got some option. Quez
Goddard,
Watkins,
Quez, yeah.
Goddard. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, bar none. Like this is the best opportunity he's had since he's been in the league. So I can't wait to see him shut up a lot of these critics because it feels like no matter what Jalen Hurts does, he just gets hated on. Like he can't do anything right. I mean,
I
yeah,
don't want to say that. I think that it has been justified. Like, to me, it has been justified. Like, when you looked at what he did at Alabama, he wasn't really a strong passer. He was a really great game manager, and he made sure they won games, but he didn't put up mad stats. And then he went to Oklahoma. He finally did it. But, I
yeah,
mean, we did see, like, 2 Oklahoma quarterbacks to go 1 overall right before him. So it was kind of just looking like a trend. Like, Oklahoma's just – they know what to do with
Lincoln
their
Riley.
quarterbacks. And so I think it's been fair. And even the NFL questions, I mean, listen, I get the struggles. I mean, I really do. Like that game against the Cowboys where he just completely shit the bed. Like that was one of the worst ones in my opinion. But he's also had really strong performances too, where you're like, damn, bro, this guy's got it. But
Yep.
I mean, he's like a lot of the young quarterbacks, man. He needs to get a little better as a passer. He's there as a runner. I mean, no doubt about it. This guy's got the dual threat ability. He just needs to get there as a passer and specifically like faster decision making too. I think his accuracy is okay. He does miss sometimes, but everybody misses sometimes. But sometimes I've seen a lot of plays where basically somebody will be open and he'll throw the ball, but it's like he threw the ball when they were open, not when they were gonna get open. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's bit him a few times. But overall, I think that this guy's gonna get it. I mean, he's a young dude.
Yeah, I believe in Jalen Hurts, and he's a great fantasy option too.
Easiest guy in the NFL to root for too.
Yeah, he's just an all-around, guy he's just a good dude, and he's a great leader. So it's going to be interesting. I hope he shuts everyone up, and I hope he does really well. Speaking of quarterbacks, though, the Falcons drafted Desmond Ridder instead of Malik Willis in the second. Was it a second round or third round where Atlanta got Ridder? I want to say it was the third. So the Falcons drafted Desmond Ridder instead of Malik Willis because they said Malik Willis lacked this signature moment in college. Like, just because basically he went to a small school. I know Cincinnati is not a huge school, but, like, Ridder did put him on and played really well there. But, like, Malik Willis going to Liberty didn't really have any spotlight games on TV or nothing like that. So I guess they were just worried about his big moment, play. Like, can he thrive in the big moment? Can he, do it? What do you think about that? Because as we know, I thought Malik Willis personally was the best quarterback in this draft, but obviously a lot of GMs and a lot of teams thought differently because he fell all the way to the third round. And I just was shocked with that comment. Like, I was like, they're going to, bash the dude from basically going to a small school. Didn't Josh Allen go to Wyoming? You know what I'm saying? I feel like there wasn't any big moment play in Wyoming. So
Carson Wentz went to NDSU.
Yeah, North Dakota State.
Just sometimes honestly, I think that these GMs are human, and sometimes they just overthink the shit. I think it's obvious Malik Willis is the better prospect, but I'll say this: I mean, we'll see what happens. Honestly, there's a good chance neither one of these guys ever start. Okay, let me start there. There's a good chance that neither one of them ever actually start, or if they do start, it's not because they were the starters, because somebody got hurt. But also, I think that if you're Malik Willis, this is kind of a blessing in disguise, bro, to be honest with you. You ended up at Tennessee, a place where, I mean, they obviously are lacking receivers now, but this is a place where you really are kind of set up for success. You got Mike Vrabel as a head coach, who's going to be a great mentor to everybody. I mean, this team has had a lot of success consistently. You're in a position where you don't have to come in right away. I guess you didn't have to in Atlanta either, but it's more likely that they would have shifted. They're going to shift faster because you got Marcus Mariota there versus Tannehill. And the Tennessee Titans are going to be fighting for a playoff spot. Atlanta, probably not. I'm not going to 100% rule it out, but very unlikely that they're fighting for a playoff spot this year. So, honestly, the only thing I can say about this is we'll see who ends up being the better player. But if you're Malik Willis, you should really be looking at this as a positive, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather be in Tennessee than Atlanta. I'm sorry. That's just me. But Desmond Ritter already came out and said, we going to get a Super Bowl by the time I leave here. I'm like,
yeah. And
okay.
The fact that you said that, it really makes you feel like you're never going to win a Super Bowl.
Bro,
buddy.
can you even you're not even the starter yet. Can you even, win the starting position first before you go Super Bowl? Case by case.
I'm waiting for the day he wins the Super Bowl in Atlanta as a backup, and he's like, "Hey, I told y'all though."
Right? Hey, bring the receipts back. I said it. Even Michael Vick couldn't do this.
That's how we win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Case by case, Aaron Rodgers went to a small school. He went to Cal. I mean, I don't think that's a small school in my opinion. I mean, they haven't really won anything. Like they're not like big on the accolades, but I don't think Cal's a small school. But I mean, like you said, I don't think either of these guys are going to start anytime soon. I mean, Desmond Ritter maybe, but they just signed Mariota to a 2-year deal. So I think they're just going to use him as a bridge.
They could throw him in the fire if shit just goes like terrible, because it's probably not going to go terrible for Tennessee. I mean, even if they have a bad season, like a bad season for them is going to be missing the playoffs. It's not going to be like there's no way that Tennessee goes like 4 wins or 6 wins. I just feel like there's just no way.
Yeah. Well, speaking of quarterbacks, look at this one. Tom Brady, of course. We always say this, Kiefer. We're done talking about Brady, but then the news just always happens, and this one was crazy. He got a $375 million contract for Fox for 10 years to call games when he is officially done playing the game, which, let's be honest, when is he going to be done? I mean, they're throwing $375 million at you, Tom. What are you waiting for? You already got enough rings. You got enough championships. Your accolades are through the freaking roof. Why not just fade away and do this? But look at, man, Fox, this is just screams desperate. As you know, Fox lost everyone almost. And I just wanted to give you kind of a perspective of how much he's getting paid. It's the largest contract in, sportscasting history, of course, but he is getting paid double what Troy Aikman and Tony Romo get paid. Their annual salary is like 18 mil, Tony Romo and Troy. This man about to break 35 mil a year to call a game, bro. Like,
well, hey, they freed up some cash flow because they lost those guys, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I do get that it's somewhat a desperation play, but at the same time, like, I mean, it's Tom Brady, so I can't really say like it's too desperate because any good network was probably interested in him. They just ended up being the highest bidder. I think, one, it kind of makes me feel like when Tom went on retirement, he really hated it. That's what it makes me feel like. He really hated it.
For real, dude.
He hated it so much that he was like, I'm going to take my ass back to work. And then he got back to work and he said, you know what, bro? I can't even risk some shit like this again. I need to go ahead and line up my next job because I do not want to go home and sit around all day with those fucking kids, okay? I should have seen this coming. I mean, Tom Brady, him and Manning, like, dude, they can do whatever they want. They can literally do whatever they want in broadcasting, sports, coaching, whatever you want to name it. They can do whatever they want. I was just really hoping. I really didn't consider if Brady would want to go do something like this. I'm disappointed to see that he's interested, okay? And it's nothing personal with Brady, all right? It's just that as a Jaguars fan, I've literally watched him crush my soul 3 times. The only 3 times I've witnessed a playoff run from the Jaguars. So it's just like I'm tired of looking at this dude. But I do think that he's going to be great. I do think that he's going to be really good in broadcasting.
Yeah.
And I think that it shouldn't be disrespectful that he's getting paid more than those guys. It should just be obvious that he should be getting paid more than those guys. I mean,
But
he's Tom freaking Brady, bro. He's the
but
GOAT. He played
listen,
longer than all of y'all. He
yeah,
won more freaking Super Bowls. This guy is basically the freaking co-coordinator for the Bucks, all right? He's co-GM for the Bucks. This guy can do whatever he wants. So I think he's going to have plenty of success there. Makes sense that he's going to be the highest paid one. I don't have any problem with that.
yeah. I'm just like, if I'm Troy or Tony, I'm still gonna be a little pissed off about this, man. Like, especially Troy, bro. He's been doing this for 20 freaking years, dude. And like the fact that this man has zero broadcasting, experience at all, walks in first day. I get double what you do, and you've been doing this for 20 plus
But
years.
Troy's
Like,
not the GOAT. Troy's not even in
I
the
know
GOAT
he's
conversation. So I just feel like, and also like, okay, like he's an all right broadcaster, but it's not like, if anything, I think I'd listen. If I was the network, I'd pay Tony Romo more than I'd pay Troy Aikman because he's just more
yeah.
interesting to
I
listen
do
to.
like
It's nothing
yeah.
personal. It's just like he just is, all right. And I think
The
Brady's gonna be the same way. I've heard people say that they think like he's gonna be super boring and shit. I don't know what they're
no,
talking about because
no.
listen, I don't like Tom Brady, but dude, he's got a good personality. I mean, he's
Yeah.
funny. Like he does do funny shit, and he's gonna be great at it. Like I have no doubts that he's gonna be really good at it. And interesting enough, did you know that this broadcasting contract is actually gonna be more money than he made during his time playing?
That's crazy, bro.
He made
Like,
like 333 mil playing so far, and this contract will be
and that
375, and it's like almost half the time.
And you know why too, because Brady has always took less money or restructured his deals. Like, that's what I respect the most about Tom
Yeah,
Brady. You know what I'm saying? Like, we both know Brady deserved to be the best, highest paid player ever to play this game, but he chose not to help, the team and help win. Like that.
To be fair though, he probably ain't going that route if he's not married to a supermodel
You're
that
right.
makes more money than him. So
Yeah.
we got to throw that
And
out
I'm
there
sure
because it's not selfish of other people to get what they need. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But I
And
also think that he's been a great businessman about it because I think he's also realized halfway through, like, hey, the more I do this, the more I'm actually building my value because we are winning. Like we are
yeah.
winning, you know?
And I'm sure, all the endorsements he has, he's making plenty of money. But that was just crazy. Like, that just shows like how much money these like, channels have, like Fox, ESPN, ABC, etc. Like all these, like, dude, to just throw 400 million almost at somebody is crazy to me, bro.
But how
And
funny would this be, though? How funny would this be, though? Let me just flip a scenario for you. So they spent all this money on Tom, right? Next thing you know, the football season comes. You see Tom Brady and a bunch of fucking scrubs, dude. They're like calling people like us, like, "Hey,
yeah,
will you do
we
games with Tom Brady for like $5,000 this season?" They have
right.
no money because Tom just bankrupted them. But no, I'm joking. I know that won't happen. But also, not just calling games, just to throw that out there. He's also going to be an ambassador for them. I don't know what the hell that means. I'm going to assume that he's just going to
Probably
show
like
up to some
deals.
events and
Yeah,
just
like try
be
to get
Tom
deals
Brady.
done. Yeah, they
Yeah,
probably
I don't
like
know.
speak for Fox and be, their TV
Yeah,
deals and stuff like that. But like,
I can see
I
that.
just I remember like when CBS. The one thing I will say, Kiefer, that you don't have to worry about because I know you don't want to see his face. He's on Fox, and you watch a lot of
I'm
CBS,
done. I'm
so
done with
so
Fox.
you're good. So you're good. But I do agree with you. I think he's going to do great, and he's definitely going to probably have that 4 o'clock prime time, Fox game now that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are gone.
He's going to be
But
Fox's Romo. Like, we're going to be watching the game with him. He's going to be calling these plays out before they happen. Like, he's going to be on that level. I just truly feel that way.
hey, I'll take $1 million for a game. Shit, I'd be like, that's chump change for Fox and all them. But yeah, I mean that was crazy. And it's funny how like CBS actually told Tony Romo, "Hey man, you need to stop like telling the fans what the plays are before it actually happens." Do you know that happened?
I
That
didn't know
he
that happened, but I don't know why they did that. I
like
love when they do. I
that's what
love
I'm
when he would
saying.
say that.
Like he's teaching the younger youth football. Like we always
Like
know
to see
about
if he's
offense.
right. I'm like, oh, are they really going to
Yeah,
do what Romo said? Like, I love watching for
yeah.
that.
I think CBS, you notice he hasn't done that much lately, like, calling the play before it happens.
Yeah, he has done it less.
I'd be like, why is it a big deal? I feel like it's great. He'd be like, oh,
I
he's
love it.
circling he'll circle like the safety. He's like, if he comes down here, it's gonna. Oh, he's coming down, Jim.
Yes, the way he says it too. Oh, I don't know, Jim.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a good idea or not.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting seeing Brady.
Sounds like he has like a beer or two before he gets on.
Bro, that's the thing too. I think they said Tony Romo loves to drink, and that was like he's like sent like I don't know. This is reports that sometimes he comes in there drunk before like games, and
I
that's
don't
why I
blame
think
him though. I don't blame him. You know why? Because first of all, he's Tony Romo and everybody loves him as an announcer. And also, I feel like that probably would help you like a little bit being a little tipsy. I'm not gonna say drunk. Like you probably
yeah,
shouldn't go in there trash, but a little
getting
tipsy. I
fucking
don't really
wasted.
see what the issue would be. And on top of that, the third reason I would justify it is because like, bro, I'm Tony Romo. I'm rich as shit, and there's really nothing you can do to me because if you let me go, somebody else is gonna pick me up.
Oh, for sure. He'll get scooped up fast. And now Amazon is in the mix, as Thursday night, they're actually talking to Richard Sherman in a role with broadcasting as well. So it seems like all these like channels, streaming services, they're all like desperate as hell. Like, let's just screw the old coaches. You remember how they were trying to take the coaches from us, like Sean McVay and Sean Payton?
Right.
Let's go get the players. How about that? We take freaking Richard Sherman, who's still a free agent. He's not retired or anything like that, but he's in deep talks with Amazon to be a broadcaster for them for the Thursday night games. It's funny to me, man. I feel like they're the list is short now with like that type of experience in that role.
Well,
But
I think people realize that like it's about the personalities you get. Like
yeah,
people like Richard Sherman. You know what I'm saying? Like people want to hear him. It doesn't matter if he's going to be good or not. They're going to tune in at least
yep,
in the beginning. Like maybe he'll suck it up and like you'll have to get rid of him, but at the very least at the beginning people are going to want to hear it. Like an example is like to me honestly like the perfect person, my favorite person to listen to on national TV, Steve Smith because he has absolutely no
yeah,
filter. You can tell he's
yep,
had no training at this. Somebody just threw him out there, and he has a great personality, and he's incredibly honest, and he gives you
hmm
exactly what you're freaking looking for. So I just feel like it's a personality thing. Like you really got to give somebody. Like I know that they do the private tryouts. I feel like you
yeah,
have to weigh more of anything on those tryouts and watching it back and seeing how just overall entertaining it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be insightful. You obviously need a mix. You need somebody up there that knows what the hell they're talking about. But some of it can be about personality. Now with Richard Sherman, I'm not so sure that he is going to be good at this. I am a little questionable on him. I want to tune in and watch it. I want to see how he does. But first of all, I saw him report his own news about him signing with
yeah,
the Bucks, and I felt like he did a terrible job. Honestly, I felt like he did a terrible job. First of all, I don't want to listen to anybody who's going to talk about themselves in third person
third
because he
person.
really went
I
the
hate
third
that.
person route, and I hated that. So if
Yeah,
he ever does that on national
yeah.
TV, for me, that's an instant you're fired, buddy. I'm not letting you go on TV and talk in third person. That's just ridiculous. But I am willing to give it a shot, and I will be interested to tune in and see how he does.
Yeah, case by case says, please know with Richard Sherman, I'm tired of him and his loud mouth. I mean, hey, the last time we saw some Richard Sherman, he was banging on someone's front door trying to break that bitch down. But we'll see where these guys go. But on other news that happened recently, the Giants released cornerback James Bradberry after not finding a suitable trade partner. Now, this created $10.1 million in cap space, but I feel like now it's like, who are you gonna sign? Other than like the receivers out there. I mean, I know Clowney's still available as well. There's not the list is slim of go getters. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to sign him now. But it's just crazy to me that they couldn't find a trade partner. Now, is this because they think like the other teams thought like, well, we know that if you don't find a trade partner, you're gonna cut them. Do you think teams knew that and had like a speculative like thought about that, or what do you think the Giants were just holding him to a higher like level?
I mean, I don't think it's the Giants holding him to a higher level, just because, like, to me, that's dumb. Because if you
Yeah,
cut him, like, you're not going to get like some big. I don't even think No, you wouldn't even get a comp pick for that. For cutting him, you wouldn't even get a comp pick. So
Yeah.
honestly, you would take whatever somebody would give you, just the fact that they give you something. Ian Rapp reported that the reason they couldn't find a trade partner was because of Bradberry's contract, because it was hard to find a team that could fit him under their cap and he wouldn't
Gotcha.
restructure with other teams. So that's what they were saying was the reason. To me, honestly, more than anything, this was kind of a deal by the Giants because, like, bro, you're cutting him after everybody's lost all their money. Like, James Bradberry is a good corner, dude. James
He's really
Bradberry
good.
is
Yes.
really good.
Yeah.
He didn't have like so 2 years ago was like his super breakout year. He's always
His
been
peak.
solid before that, but that was like when it was like, okay, this guy is really
He
stepping up.
made it to the
Last year,
Pro Bowl.
yeah, last year not as much, but he was still good, dude. Like this is a good player. And
Yeah.
to me, the Giants cutting him is just a we're in total rebuild type of move because you're not cutting James Bradberry does not make you better. Like it just doesn't.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a we need to get under the cap type of situation. To me, this is we're getting younger. We know we're not competing this year. We want to see what we got with the young guys. So we're going to get rid of this guy and just play it out because they're not afraid to tank.
Yeah, you're right because
It's not like they're trying to lose, but we're not afraid of what's going to the repercussions of losing a number one corner.
we have nothing to like. There's nothing. The risk isn't there. Like
Exactly.
you said,
Exactly.
like
Expectations are not playoffs this year.
Yes, Brian DeBall's first year as a head coach. I'm sure he wants as much money as possible. Like the Kadarius Toney reports came out saying that they're shopping Kadarius Toney, then they shut it down. They're saying that's not true. He basically tried to take his way out of New York himself. Kadarius Toney did. Did you hear about this? They had the OTAs or like whatever the pre off-season workouts. It wasn't mandatory, but he didn't show up. Basically, you just show up to get the playbook type stuff. Like that's what the first little like wave of like OTAs or off-season workouts. You just go get the new playbook, whatever, start learning. He didn't even show up. I mean, as a second year wide receiver, don't you want to know what your new head coach and all them have jotted up for you for the next season? So I feel like that was him trying to force his own way out of the Giants, but they're like, we ain't shopping him. And now this creates 10 million in cap, so they can use that for next season. I don't know. But like you said, they have nothing to really worry about. Like the expectations aren't high. Like they're
Yeah.
not going to win more than 5 games probably.
And with those Kadarius Toney rumors, I can't remember if we actually talked about this topic or not, but
We didn't.
okay, so with him, so it's kind of interesting because they said like coming out of college, that was a big knock for him was that he's not the hardest worker. And I
Yeah.
think from the Giants' perspective, one, he did flash last year. He wasn't consistent, but he did. He had those couple. Remember that game he went for like 189?
Oh yeah, 180.
Like,
But then again, hold on. Then again, that game they were without everybody. They didn't have Sterling or Shepard. They didn't have Slayton. They didn't have any of those guys that were active. So he was literally like the only freaking guy receiver wise that were active that game. Still not taking the game away from him, but like yeah, we saw like 10 catches, 180 some yards.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but I also feel like in those situations, okay, so nobody else is there, so they're probably going to cover you pretty hard because like
Yeah,
you're the
exactly.
only name that's out here. Everybody else is just unknown people. But yeah, I think one he showed a lot from the flashes, and I think from the Giants' perspective, even with it being a new regimen, it just wasn't going to be worth it to make the move. I mean, his reputation is now building up. Okay,
Yeah.
there were some problems last year with them and the Giants and him. If you remember, there was just like them butting
Because
heads like partway through the year.
he didn't have any like I think through like 4 or 5 weeks he only had like 2 catches for like 18 yards.
And like hardly any snaps. Actually, at one point
Yeah.
he had negative yardage because
Yeah,
I
we had
remember us
more yards than
joking
him.
about us having more
Yeah.
receiving yards than him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but from their perspective, I think it's a good move to just keep him because okay, listen, even if this guy is who they're saying he is, even if, and we don't know this, but even if he is somebody that doesn't want to work hard, maybe he's like, screw this organization because you guys pissed me off last year. Your best chance is just bring him in, hope that he's talented, and honestly talk him into being that guy. Just show him what you can offer him in this offense and get him to believe. If you can get him to
Yeah.
believe, then that's the first step. So I feel like that's their best route with this
Yeah,
situation.
I feel like they sat him down probably like privately and like discussed because bro, if you're thinking of Brian Daboll, and like the Bills last year. Like him being the OC with the Bills, and you saw how many jet sweeps and like Isaiah McKenzie and like Gabriel Davis. The way he used those guys, of course, Diggs. We already know about how Diggs is a beast, but just using the other guys on like the little jet sweeps, even the trick plays of like throwing the ball when Diggs threw the ball that one play, and we saw Tony can throw it. They, last season they used Tony on every game. It seemed like he had like one pass attempt at least. So I think Brian DeBall can use Tony like really well. I feel like he would like that's a guy that you want to have on your team. And
Yeah, for
like when
sure.
he came out of Florida, like we saw him at Florida, like that dude is just explosive, man. Like he can just get into the open field and just go. And I feel like his first year they weren't really using him the right way. And of course, you have Daniel Jones as your quarterback and Mike Glennon. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm not expecting much from those two throwing you the ball. So yeah, I'm with you. I feel like they definitely should keep him. And I was like, when the reports came out, they were like, "Oh, they want to try to trade him." I was like, "Shit, that's the guy that I'll be okay the Packers trying to go and get right there." Because I remember last season when he got selected in the first round by the Giants, I wanted him. I wanted Kadarius Toney because I've seen a lot of Gator games, and that dude just made plays all around the field.
Okay, so let me ask you this though, since we're talking about Tony and the Giants, two-part question. So one, who do you think will be the Giants' number one receiver this year? And will that guy break 1,000 yards given the quarterback situation? Just off the top of your head. No,
I
it doesn't
want to
have to be a hard
say,
answer.
yeah, I want to say it will probably be Shepard. I just feel like he's the most consistent we've seen, throughout the years. He hasn't, you know, wowed us off the paper, but like just watching him play on the red zone and stuff like that, I feel like he's getting the most targets and the most catches a game. Like he'll have like 8 catches for like 60 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like when he's healthy, Shepard just does the most for them. And I feel like, he's turned out to be a pretty decent receiver. You know what I'm saying? He's not a Pro Bowler, but he's a suitable, serviceable receiver. So I think Shepard would have the best chance to get over 1,000 and be the number one. Who do you
So
think?
are you guessing that he will?
Um, it's hard, man. It's hard with Daniel Jones, that quarterback, but I feel like he has the best chance. I don't think he will, but I feel like he has the best chance. Of course, Darius Slayton, out of talent wise, I feel like Darius Slayton is better. Like he just has more explosiveness. But we seen Darius Slayton beat himself up. Like when he dropped that wide open pass. You
Yeah,
remember that? Wide
yeah,
open, dude, and the freaking touchdown. And he drops it. Like he just does stuff like that. And I forgot they have Kenny Galladay, bro. I literally just
yeah. Oh
blew
yeah, I
right by
remember.
my head. I forgot about Kenny Galladay. I mean, if you're talking about like who's already done it, who's already broke 1,000, Galladay would be the guy. But I think Shepard just gets the most targets.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised you said Shepard. I really thought that it would be between Galladay and Tony. I'm actually going to guess that Tony will be their number one receiver this year.
Really,
And I mean it's a real wild card. He's the
it's a
only
dart.
guy. He's the only guy on this team that I think has a chance to hit 1,000. Because Galladay, the only reason I don't think Galladay will do it is because the way Galladay's played historically, like with Detroit and everything, I mean, he doesn't create a ton of separation. He's a guy that can
Yeah.
catch the ball in traffic. And I just don't think Daniel Jones is confident enough to throw it to him in traffic. So that's where I think his dilemma is going to be on this team
Hmm.
is because I just don't think Daniel Jones is going to risk it. I think he could have the most touchdowns possibly, just as like a jump ball type of situations.
Yeah, 50-50
But
red zone threat.
yeah. But as far as yardage, I think Tony's going to come in one. I mean, and to me, that's a real boomer bust. I think that Tony's either going to be the one or Tony's not going to do shit. Tony's like not even going to play because he's going to be a problem. I think it's gonna. I just don't see him being an in the middle guy. It's either going to go great or it's going to go terrible. But I'm going to guess that it's going to go good because I just don't see how you couldn't be motivated with the new coaching staff that's in there.
Well, let me ask you this question. When do you think Tony's going to get his first career touchdown? He didn't have one all year last season, so
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough call. I'm gonna say week 9,
week 9.
just because I think the Giants ain't gonna be scoring
Oh
many
shit,
touchdowns.
that's funny. I hope Saquon has a bounce back year, man. I'm actually a huge Saquon fan, and he's just in a shitty freaking situation. Some other things before we get on my last topic I have is the Broncos. They threw out where they think how much they're going to sell for because the Broncos are in the mix of selling that franchise to a new owner, and they said $5 billion. You can have them for $5 billion.
Yikes!
My God. Well, is that 5 million going to help the stadium catching on fire again?
You
Maybe
mean 5
remember that?
billion? I
Yeah,
mean, I
five
would hope
billion.
5 billion would help the stadium catching on fire.
Yeah, I mean nothing really to talk about, but I saw that, and then also the Dolphins signed Sony Michel, and the Ravens signed your boy Mike Davis, both on a 1 year
Ugh.
little vet minimum. But nothing really to talk about. I don't think much of this. I mean, Dolphins have like 7 running backs on their roster now. They just
But that's
signed Jay.
perfect for Mike McDaniels. That's what he likes.
Yeah, you're right. He likes to use 4 to 5 freaking running backs. But I don't think he's going to have a huge role. And then Ravens signing Mike Davis. I mean, I don't know.
Nothing.
It was like a 1 year
If
deal, 1 mil.
if the Gus Edwards and who's the other guy from Ohio
J.K.
State?
Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins, if they're ready, that guy will never see the field.
Exactly. So just some signings that happened throughout the week. But this was a topic that I wanted to talk to you about. So is Terry McLaurin the next receiver to get paid or traded? We should have like a segment, paid or
Paid or
traded.
traded. I mean,
But
dude, you already know, bro. I think they need to be paying these guys. So I'm gonna stick with paid.
yeah,
I'm just gonna I just don't feel confident about it because of the way that it's gone with these wide receivers. I'm not gonna completely rule out traded, but if we're talking about for this year, I do not think there's any chance that they trade Terry McLaurin because I refuse to
yeah.
believe that all of these GMs are too dumb to realize they can trade them after this year. I feel like they're forgetting that there's a franchise tag.
Yeah, and I mean, the reason I brought this up because we both were like, "Oh, I don't think AJ Brown's gonna get traded," and then
I
he
know,
he
bro.
did. He was like the one that we were both like, "There's no way the Titans let AJ Brown go." Maybe Debo will leave, maybe, but no, not AJ, and he was the one to go. But I really, I brought this up because the report came out and said him and the Commanders' contract extension talks, quote unquote, haven't really started yet. And I just want to throw out some stats about Terry McLaurin because I know you know how good he is, but I want the people to know. He's 26 years old, entering his final year of the rookie contract, and through 3 seasons, his numbers are 222 catches, 3,090 yards, and 16 touchdowns with 8 different quarterbacks. I mean, just that, like you're averaging 1,000 yards a year, you know, 7-ish touch or like 5 to 6 touchdowns a year, and you're doing it with multiple guys. Like that just screams how
He's
good.
really taken the DeAndre Hopkins
Yeah,
career path here with the 8 quarterbacks.
for
Yeah,
real
I mean
though.
that really does show you how good he is, though. I mean, you're literally doing it with whoever. Like, doesn't even
Yeah,
matter.
and
But
he
yeah, I
doesn't
mean, he's a
drop the
beast.
ball.
No, he doesn't.
Y-
And you know what I just thought about too? Like with the Titans and the Niners situation, like that is a perfect situation where I was talking about an unhappy superstar for another unhappy superstar. Like, why not try it? Like, why don't you just call San Fran and be like, hey, what do you think about swapping AJ Brown and Debo Samuel?
Yeah,
Like Debo wants to be closer to the East Coast. Okay. AJ
yeah.
Brown wants to make a boatload of money. All right, maybe we can work something out here.
Now with that situation, because I know Debo and AJ have the same agent. Do you think that has anything to do with you know trade talks between teams? Like, do you think no?
Nah, I mean the agents know how to contact the teams. So and
Yeah,
they're gonna do whatever their client wants them to do. So I mean, if there's a team that the client wants them to call, they're probably just gonna call them, dude. I don't
Yeah.
think that representing both of them will have any impact.
Yeah.
It will
Well,
for negotiations of contracts, but I mean, you didn't need to have the same agent for that to affect that. I mean, if you have a good agent, he's still going to reference other people's contract regardless.
yeah. I just it was that agent, I forgot his name, but he like represents a lot of receivers. I think he might represent Terry McLaurin too, but yeah, it was just interesting because I think Terry McLaurin deserves to get paid, man. Like it if I'm him and I'm going up to that front office, I'm like, bro, like look at what I've dealt with my first 3 seasons here. Like and just look at my stats. I've stayed healthy. I barely dropped the ball, if any at all. And then I just produce stats. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the main reasons why they actually have a decent, okay-ish offense, like him and Antonio Gibson. But not we'll see how he does with his ninth quarterback, Carson Wentz, for now. You know, we're both gonna say he's gonna stay with the Commanders. I don't think he's gonna get traded. Now, I know you said that's pretty much all the topics I had, but I know you have something like Jaguars news that you wanted to touch on real quick.
Yeah, just a little quick tidbit for the Jaguars. So our third round linebacker, Chad, I think his first name, Chad Mumba.
Yeah.
He went on 10-10 XL. All right, and we got a little insight into how the Jaguars told him, at least, that they want to use him because, as we all know, we drafted 2 linebackers and we also
Mhm.
signed one in free agency, and we have 2 true linebacker positions. So Muma says that the Jaguars want him to play Mo backer, also money backer, same thing. Mo backer, short for that. I've never heard of this term before. All right, but apparently this new Mo backer position was invented like 5 years ago by Todd Bowles. And basically, the position is a linebacker safety hybrid, which we've seen plenty of that in the
Hmm.
past. But it actually does line up pretty much like in between where a linebacker would be and where a safety would be. So I don't really know how the personnel set is in that formation. I don't know what you lose adding that linebacker if you're losing a safety or whatever, but that is apparently going to be the plan for him. So we'll see how it looks with the full personnel set. But that's all I had for the Jaguars. And then I have a couple of other things. I got a question for you, Max. Okay. The draft is coming on.
Yeah.
The offseason is coming on, basically. And the Packers
Right.
re-signed Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love's still sitting on the sidelines. He hasn't been traded. He's had one career start to his name. Didn't do that great. Max, what the hell should you guys do with Jordan Love?
I mean, I think we already came out and said, like, I don't know if this is true or not because it's reported, but we're saying that we want at least a second round pick for Jordan Love, which I don't. Do you think he's worth a second rounder?
Bruh.
I know.
Hell no.
I was
You
like,
know I
listen,
didn't like him coming out. So you already I didn't think he was worth a first rounder then. All right, he's definitely not worth a second rounder. I mean, listen, we have more information now, okay? This guy sat around for 2 years doing nothing. They finally had to throw him out there because of some COVID shit, and he just looked – I don't want to say he looked terrible. He just didn't look good. He just didn't do anything. He didn't actually help the team. So, no, I
well,
don't
we
think this
saw.
guy's worth – honestly, dude, I wouldn't give you guys anything more than a fourth. I'm just being honest with
Oh,
you. I wouldn't
come
give you
on.
anything more than a
He's
fourth for this
still
guy.
young. He still has a lot to go. We saw him play against the Chiefs. He didn't look too bad. I mean, you know what I'm
Didn't
saying?
look good. And keep in mind, bro, it's not just that he didn't look good against the Chiefs defense. Their defense was ass the first 8 games of
Yeah,
last year. That was one of those games. Like that was the first
yeah,
game where they weren't
bro.
ass. Was against
That
Jordan Love.
that game, man, like we only scored 7 points, but dude, if we had Rodgers, that game would have been a blowout. It seemed like, but yeah, I mean, what should the Packers do with Jordan Love? I mean, I'm going on the record, just keep him for now. Like we need. Listen, I know Rodgers hasn't been hurt in recent seasons, but we've seen him be hurt before. So that's always the thing in the back of my mind is like, what if Rodgers gets hurt? I would much rather have Jordan Love there than freaking Ben Kirk, the other guy that we have. Um, I would keep Jordan Love,
Oh, the guy that
but
got super happy about getting to take the
I
kneel?
yeah, that guy. I don't want
Dude,
that.
come
No,
on.
no, I
I'm
don't.
pulling for old buddy.
No, I
Listen,
don't.
you know what I actually think would be? This is what I would do. I mean, I keep saying this on this episode, but I just don't know why it doesn't happen more. I would try to trade Jordan Love for like another player that has been disappointing. You know,
Like
like
another
not
quarterback or another
no,
player?
not a quarterback, just a player in general. Like I'd be open to any position, but I'm just throwing out an example. This wouldn't
Like
really
Jalen
work.
Rager?
Actually, yes.
No,
You
bro.
wouldn't trade Jordan Love for Jalen
No,
Rager? You're
no.
tripping balls, dude. I'm sorry, you're tripping balls. And I know that Jordan Rager has been disappointing, but you're telling me you wouldn't trade a quarterback that has done absolutely nothing, okay? And Jalen Rager, yeah, he hasn't done much either, but he has had shining moments. You remember that one-handed catch he had where everybody's like, whoa!
Yeah.
You know?
Was
So
it?
I just feel like
I don't know. I just don't. I don't believe in Jalen
you're
Rager
tripping, bro. I mean, it doesn't even matter if you don't believe in him that much. Like, do you really believe in Jordan Love that much, dude? I mean, we're
as a
talking like
backup. Yes, I do.
okay, as a backup, buddy.
So,
What are you
like,
doing? As a backup?
yep.
Okay, I believe in Jalen Rager as a fucking wide receiver 4.
But listen, man.
Played more than the backup quarterback.
You need a backup quarterback. That's the thing.
You need one
What if?
if your
What if?
quarterback don't get hurt
Listen to
and he
me.
gets vaxxed.
Listen to me. If Aaron Rodgers goes down, would you much rather have Jordan Love or that dude Ben Kirk that gets happy for taking a kneel? Like,
Why
come
is that
on.
your only options? There's people out there that you can sign. There are guys that are just sitting around.
What we trade? What if we trade Jordan Love for Baker Mayfield?
Dude, I mean, like that's another thing. Like there are options. Like that's why I don't get too into that. Like the only way that seriously screws you is if you're past week 8, because then you don't have any options. But I mean, other than I just honestly, I'm sure I could find a free agent quarterback that I'd rather put in over Jordan Love. I just can almost guarantee you that I can find one out there.
You know why? You know why I don't think we will trade Jordan Love? Because I think Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst, like, they just don't want to bite that bullet, man. They're just like, man, we really fucked up drafting this guy, didn't we? If we trade him away now, it'll make us look very dumb, which they already did drafting him at first. So I just feel like, they handpicked Jordan Love and they just don't want to give up on it when they already knew
What
they
you're
fucked
saying
up.
right now, is actually kind of like pissing me off because that is like the stupid, like, and it's common. It's common. You're right. Like people definitely do that in the NFL and they are idiots, dude. Those are the kind of people that get fired the fastest. You can't base your new decision on your old decision. Your old decision is a sunk cost. It doesn't matter that you were wrong about Jordan Love at this point. The only thing that matters is what you do moving forward. And saying we're not going to trade him because we think it'll make us look dumb. Like, bro, fuck that kind of mentality. Like, you got to do what's best for the team now.
That is,
and I'm looking at the free agent list right now, just so you know. Because, yes, you can trade away Jordan Love right now, and you could go sign a Ryan Fitzmagic, which I wouldn't feel too confident with because of the hip thing last year.
I feel like he needs to just retire. Jesus.
He does, but there are other options, okay? I'm just telling you, we got a few, all right? Then we got Nick Foles, okay? I definitely trust Nick Foles. You'd rather have Jordan Love than Nick Foles starting for you.
I mean,
good question.
Listen, outside of that Eagles
playoff run, you're in the middle of a playoff run. You can turn to either Jordan Love or Nick Foles. Who the hell are you going to turn to? Please say Jordan Love. Please do it.
I don't know.
I will tear you apart.
I don't know if I would. I don't know, man. Foles has not looked good since that Eagles run. I would much rather have a guy that's in our offense.
Here we go, buddy.
Listen,
you're telling me. No, stop. My turn. Stop. You're telling me that you would rather take Jordan Love, somebody who has not proven anything, didn't do anything in the one start that he got. And yeah, Nick Foles, has he struggled? Absolutely. But that's why you can trust Nick Foles more, because he's been through this adversity, okay? This is a guy that has won a Super Bowl. He's played in playoff games. He's played meaningful football. He is not going to crack under pressure. Jordan Love, you have no idea if he's going to crack under pressure. You know why Nick Foles isn't going to crack? Because he knows what the worst that's going to happen. It's happened to him before. So that's why, to me, I don't know how you could pick Jordan Love over Nick Foles in that
I'm just
situation that
saying
we just discussed?
he knows the offense.
He knows the offense. Oh my God.
That's
How?
it.
He knows the offense from not playing in it? From playing on the
He's
practice
he's
squad?
practiced he's practiced quite a bit, man. He knows what you know,
Yeah, that's
hook
horseshit.
hook left, right to the
Clipping this
I don't
one. All
want both.
right.
I don't want either
Let's
of them.
move.
How about that?
Okay. All right. Last guy. I guess if you picked him over Nick Foles, you'll probably pick him over this guy too. But Cam Newton. You'd pick him over Cam Newton?
I don't know actually. I don't know if I would take Jordan Love over Cam Newton. I mean, I would say I'd take Cam, even though Cam looked worse than
Interesting.
Foles. But I would take Cam just
That's
because
why I'm surprised. I figured if
he
you
can
picked
still
him over
move a
Foles,
little bit. I like a I don't like a statue as a quarterback. I like a
dual
guy that
threat
can move.
ability.
And I know Cam definitely can't run as much as he did, but if you get him in the red zone, he can make something happen. Nick Foles, you just got to book on a fade route or something, man. But like with Cam, you can dial up a quarterback draw, anything down there. So I would
Yeah.
take Cam over Jordan Love, but I don't know about Foles. I would take Fitzpatrick
Honestly,
over Love too. But
interesting. That's really interesting. Those are like the three like glamour backup QBs that are out there. I would honestly take if they were all healthy. I would actually take all three of those guys over him. But I'm just so shocked that you said him over Foles because I
I
just
just
feel like
don't like
Foles
Foles.
has the most experience out of those guys as far as like you really shouldn't crack for any reason because you've been through it all. You've been a high paid quarterback. You've been a laughed at quarterback. Like you've won a Super Bowl. You've thrown mad interceptions and couldn't get a pass off. Like you've been through it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna do anything with him though. I think we just might just not. We're definitely not gonna re-sign him. But then you're gonna get into that territory. Do you just let him leave, or do you just get a fifth for him and say, "Screw it, we lost this. We shouldn't have fucking drafted him. Let's get something in return." But I don't know if a team is willing to give up much for freaking Jordan Love, dude. You know?
No, they probably aren't. So one last topic before we end the day, just a quick one. So Trevon Diggs recently on social media put out a tweet and it caused a little controversy. All right, he said sacks are easier to get than INTs. Max, do you agree?
No,
You
no.
don't?
Sacks are easier.
Yeah, sacks are easier
No,
to get than INTs.
no. I'm just, bro. You know how much big dude you got to get through, bro. Like, sometimes you got to get through three, like the first block, then you got to get through the running back, and then you got to get to the freaking quarterback at sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like it just ints. They're both hard. Like, don't get me wrong, they're both tough to get, but I would just feel like as a player, I think sacks are harder, just because there's a lot to go through to get to that sack. Because one, you might have to worry about a running quarterback. So after you get through that offensive line, the running back, and the quarterback starts, running, it's tough. Especially because you
Wow.
have about 3 seconds. You got, 2 to 3 seconds if you think about it to get that sack. With
You are
INTs, listen, INTs, the guy can just be scared out of his mind and just toss it up, and then boom, you get a INT. You just got to
Bro,
catch
I can't believe this, but we are really just not seeing eye to eye today. I
you.
honestly don't even see how you can make an argument for this. I didn't even understand why this
How?
became controversial. It's so obvious that INTs are harder to get than sacks. Dude, just look at people's final numbers, okay? Rarely ever have we even seen somebody hit double digit interceptions. We've never seen somebody hit 20 interceptions before. You've seen
Yeah,
multiple people hit 20 sacks before. And you say that like that you can just get like an interception for somebody scared. I mean, we literally saw Brett Favre just like roll on the ground and give Michael Strahan his award-winning sack. So I think
that's just
that can be
him being a
taken
good
both
friend.
ways. There's plenty of times where I mean, we saw Aaron Murray just drop to the ground with Aaron Donald. And I'm not saying it was easy for Aaron Donald to get there. Both of them are hard to do. But just when you look at the amount of times it happens, I mean, I
But
have to say it's clear that
I'm
getting the interceptions harder.
I'm just visualizing not a dominant player like Aaron Donald. Sacks are probably easy unless he gets triple teamed. But say like a rookie, that's not really well known and that a fifth rounder. him getting a sack versus a corner getting an INT. I just feel like the sack is just harder.
Yeah, I
That's
don't.
just
I don't think
unless you're
so.
a beast ass fucking player like Aaron Donald and
I
Von
don't even
Miller
think
and
it's close. I don't even think it's close. So we're gonna have to agree to this. I mean, this is why, bro, because you see so many people on a team with like 3.5 sacks. Like let's just say 3 sacks. Like you normally like at least good teams normally have like 4 guys that have had 3 sacks. 3 interceptions, you don't really have that many people
yeah.
that are going to have 3 interceptions. So I will rest my case there. We can agree to disagree on that one. Do you have
You
anything else
always
before we head out?
disagree with everything I say.
No, I don't. But
I
that
know, I'm kidding.
I can't believe you said that. I was very surprised.
Oh
Surprising day.
well, guys. This is our first live stream episode of Max Coverage. Check us out usually on Apple Podcast, Spotify. Of course, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate y'all's support. We've had a constant 2 viewers the whole time, so shout out to the 2. I know Case by Case has been in here, and French is probably the other one. But appreciate all y'all. We will be back next week. You have fun on vacation, Kiefer, and fun in
I'll be
Puerto
in Puerto
Rico. And
Rico.
until we get crazy amount of news or something big happens, we will be doing this for the future. But don't worry, we'll be back in studio soon. So catch us next week on Max Coverage. We're out of here. Peace.
Peace.